This is an overview of the stopping or permanent closure of a public road in East Otago and of the success of objectors to the stopping in negotiating alternative public access. Little did the objectors anticipate that this case would be projected to national prominence merely by bringing it to the attention of government officials intent on a very different outcome throughout the rest of New Zealand. I am Bruce Mason. I negotiated the Bushey Park deal on behalf of the objectors. These aerials show the alignment of the road out to the coast, including 3 short side roads. In agreeing to road stopping, the objectors obtained improved access up the coast from the south. These aerials show the start point at Anderson's Lagoon, along the cliff tops, then the beach to the mouth of the Shag River. There is an existing unformed public road along the cliff, right along this coast. 7 small sections of unformed road were added to the existing road on the inland side to provide convenient walking access. It was a condition of our agreement with the adjoining landowner and the District Council that these steel steps be installed up the only steep part of the route. This is the first section of new unformed road. After half an hour along the cliff tops, the route drops onto the beach. This is negotiable between mid and low tides. It is another 35 minutes walk to the mouth of the Shag River. The river is at the foot of the hill. Return is by the same route. Mr. Brian Hayes, a senior legal advisor to successive land access panels, claimed early in 2007 that it is not possible to create new unformed roads over private lands. This is based on him implying that the only means of creating roads is subdivision, with local councils having no power to accept unformed roads. In response to this, I cited the Bushey Park road case, whereby sections of unformed road were created along the coastal route without any apparent administrative difficulty. In response to my statement that the coastal route now provides practical alternative walking to the mouth of the Shag River, in October 2007, Mr. Hayes accused me of extravagant supposition and misrepresentation. Mr. Hayes asserts that the coastal road is a relatively minor rather than substantive part of the new scheme of access, whereas new esplanade strips along the north bank of the Shag are the major part of the deal. More will be said about esplanade strips shortly. There are hundreds of new roads created throughout New Zealand annually, involving the same process that was used for substituting the lost access of Bushey Park Road. This is by way of use of Section 114 of the Public Works Act. The officials responsible for implementing this Act draw no distinctions between formed and unformed roads. The other part of the Bushey Park deal involved the creation of new esplanade strips along the north bank of the Shag River. These complement some previously established esplanade strips on another property. There is now continuous public access, of a sort, from below State Highway 1 to Shag Point. We also achieved better terms of public use than what was originally offered. However, it must be appreciated that these strips are not public reserves. They are easements over private property, with far inferior rights of public use than on roads and no security against future extinguishment. The sole reason the objectors agreed to esplanade strips is that the Shag River is unstable and continues to change its course. Esplanade strips move with changes to riverbanks. The strips provide a major improvement for anglers, in particular whitebaiters, who often boat along the river to land on the bank. However, in no way does the North Bank provide substitution for the access lost by the stopping of Bushey Park Road. Join me for a kayak trip down the Shag River. The esplanade strip is on the North Bank, which is on the left. As you will shortly see, much of the North Bank is impassable to foot traffic. Right, we're going to sample a bit of Brian Hayes' practical esplanade access, the modern way of doing things. I'm within 5 metres of the riverbank, within the esplanade strip. This is an existing one, or one that predated the Bushey Park deal. Well, in 5 metres we've come against an immovable object. Have a close look, Mr. Hayes. There. Being private land, there are no specific controls of land use over esplanade strips. Normal rural activities such as forestry are not prohibited, and the local authority cannot clear walking tracks without the consent of the landowner. Willfully damaging or removing any plant is prohibited. The limited rights of access the public have can, as in the case of the North Bank of the Shag River, become no more than paper access. Any suggestion that there is practical foot access along the North Bank and then across the river to where Bushey Park Road used to go to is ludicrous. On the basis of what I believe to be quite erroneous advice, Government and the Walking Access Commission now favour alternative mechanisms for public access, rather than the use of unformed roads. Those alternatives are centred on the use of access and esplanade strips. These are of the same legal character. It is necessary to appreciate the fundamental differences between public roads and esplanade strips, etc., to appreciate what is at stake for the public of New Zealand. Unformed public roads are the greatest recreational asset of New Zealand, for they are the one mechanism that provides an unqualified guarantee of access for everyone. There are approximately 56,000 kilometres of unformed roads throughout New Zealand. These are potentially at risk by substitution by what, as Mr. Hayes describes as, something less in terms of public rights than offered by public roads. The Bushey Park case demonstrates the fallacies behind the official preferences for access by easement, rather than retaining or creating new unformed roads. There is no justification for accepting something less than that currently enjoyed over our roading estate.